Mississippi Department of Health is testing around 500 people for tuberculosis. Just 2 days ago, a case was reported at Ole Miss. Our Quentin Smith joins us live in the studio with more on what you need to know.
Yes, Scott, in order for someone to become exposed to tuberculosis, it usually requires extensive direct contact with the person who has that infection. I spoke with a doctor at Baptist Memorial Hospital, and he says tuberculosis is not a disease they see regularly, but it's still something they don't take lightly.
Tuberculosis is a serious infection that mainly affects the lungs.
Dr. Lee Richardson has been working at Baptist Memorial Hospital for more than 2 decades now. He says throughout his career, it's not too often that he comes across a patient dealing with a tuberculosis infection.
We'll see a case every case of active tuberculosis will come in the emergency room about once every 2 or 3 years.
However, while Richardson says TB isn't common at his facility, he admits it's still a serious and deadly infection. There are 2 forms of it: active tuberculosis.
Active tuberculosis is spread through water droplets, mostly involving coughing or sneezing.
And latent tuberculosis.
Latent tuberculosis is asymptomatic, and most people do not know that they have latent tuberculosis. Only becomes a problem if it converts into active.
Active tuberculosis is contagious, and anyone can be exposed to it. In fact, Richardson says if you're sitting in the same room as someone with the infection, you can also become infected.
Cough is the most common symptom that you're going to have. Cough for over 3 weeks for sure. Night sweats, severe night sweats are another symptom of tuberculosis. Fever, unexplained weight loss. Those 4 are probably the top symptoms somebody's going to have with tuberculosis.
However, if someone becomes infected, the longtime doctor says the good news is tuberculosis is curable. If anyone experiences any of the symptoms, Richardson says he recommends seeing a doctor right away.
You know, the evaluation would typically start with the skin test. If the skin test is positive, then proceed with chest x-ray and further evaluation.
Now, the State Department of Health says 9 million people worldwide develop tuberculosis, and a new case is diagnosed every 64 seconds. It also reports that 1.5 million people die from tuberculosis each year. Scott.